Hey, AfterBuzzers and Honeymoon Island fans, we have a couple that went home, but we also have a couple couples that are getting stronger. We can't wait to discuss this episode 5, Crazy in Love, so stick around.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
This song just turned, what was it, 20 years old?
No. 20.
Yes.
Like, I feel like I'm wrong saying that. Fact check me, but like literally, Britney Spears posted it on Instagram yesterday.
No, I'm sorry.
Wild, we're getting old. Oh my gosh. But this song perfectly depicts how freaking crazy one of these couples is, and I can't wait to get into it. But before we do, I just want to introduce our lovely panel. And we have a full one today. Chelsea is joining us.
Hi, guys.
We're so excited to have you here.
I'm excited to be here. I am obsessed with this show now. Words can't describe how addicted I am to this show.
It's
I know
very
why
addictive.
the fan base is so huge.
Very addicting.
Oh my
and then obviously we've got Jen and Lauren. Ladies,
Hello.
what's going on?
We are ready to talk about the craziness.
I can't even control myself. I talk to myself while watching.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
same.
I talk to the TV. I'm like, what in the actual F is going on?
It's a roller coaster, really. I go through several emotions at one time.
I am on the same page. Hey guys, it's Allie here, and I'm ready to dive in because I can't tell you how frustrated Isabella makes me. The words that the things that go on in my head, because I always try to give people the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Obviously, I don't know her personally. It's not fair for me to project things because I don't know her personally.
It's really nice of you.
that
Yeah,
was
it
very, deep of you to do.
But I will say, based off what we're seeing on television, because we don't know how things are twisted or whatever, I have to say, I don't know how she's ever going to find a relationship.
I thought the same thing. I totally hear you. I feel like my wheels started turning about this chick, and I'm like, obviously we're only seeing what we're seeing. I get it. Again, don't project your insecurities or your ideas onto this thing. But I thought to myself, she was on this show before. Mm-hmm. I think it was probably dramatic and interesting. Mm-hmm. She was on it again, and it was the same thing. And now everyone's hip to the game. They're like, nope, honey, I'm sorry. The issue is you, and I cannot subscribe, and now I'm uninterested. And that's why they left. It's like, no, nobody wants to. We're done. The jig is up. The drama, it's over.
Right.
We can't even relate to you anymore. Like, you're so unrelatable and irrational that it's now beyond the point. It's just like, exit, please.
She's very villainy at this point.
Yes.
I'm like, oh my goodness, you just broke poor Tyler's heart, you heinous bee. And also, first of all, so many things. I sound like Nicholas Fane from Saturday Night Live. I have so many thoughts at one time. But how does she trick them into falling in love in the first place? Because it's like she presents herself in
That's what she
flowers
does.
and rainbows.
That's what she does.
And then all of a sudden she gets comfortable and the fangs come out and she's mad at everything they do and say and throws a tantrum and then is mad that they're also... Okay, let me stop myself because I'm so upset. But this is the thing I noticed. She does all of these things because she hears somebody is falling in love and feels comfortable and doesn't understand somebody falling in love does not give you free reign to act out.
Right.
And then they don't have to stay with you just because they might have feelings of love. Unconditional love does not mean taking abuse.
It for sure.
I
There's
feel
a
emotionally abused
deep-seated,
by her.
rooted issue with her for sure. And it's the same thing. I mean, we kept getting flashbacks of the loofah thing from the season before.
Right. And it's little things. Let's break it down. Chelsea, obviously, we're just getting you in here. What are your initial thoughts on this whole Tyler-Isabella situation?
She bothers me, period. But what bothered me the most was when she was leaving and they were doing her interview. And she genuinely was like, I don't understand
I was
what
gonna
I
bring
did.
that up.
Yeah, I don't understand why I didn't do anything wrong. I'm like, girl, please, exit. Just leave.
Her words were, I
leave
don't
dating.
understand.
I don't understand.
Yeah, her words were like, I don't understand, I did nothing wrong. So let's break it down, obviously. Sorry, guys, we've got lots of thoughts. I'm sure you're thinking the same thing. And like I said, we don't know her personally. We're just doing this based off what we were seeing on television. But we start this episode, obviously we had the whole, they came in third place, that was an issue. She locked Tyler out of the hotel room. He had to get his own room, which that was even a huge thing, because we talked about how you should never go to bed angry. You should never lock someone out of an apartment when you guys are going through this crazy thing anyways. But then, you know, they apologize, they talk to the experts. Tyler, I don't know why I keep wanting to call him Chris. I don't know why.
He does look like a Chris.
Yeah.
I agree.
So Tyler decides he wants to talk to the experts and kind of figure this out, hash it out. And she's like, did you call them or did they want to?
But hold on, can I interject for a second?
Yes.
Even that comment her comments are so the opposite of disarming. They're instantly accusatory. Like, well, did you call
That's
the
true.
experts or did they talk to you? It's like she's already putting on the defense. She comes into every situation with an accusation, and it's like instant, like, oh my God, what am I doing wrong? Which is why this guy cried so much. He ended the episode saying, I've never cried this much since the day I was born.
Yeah.
Which
Like,
that was a genius
how?
line.
And it's like, because she fucking, excuse me, sorry. She really went in there and like kind of like turned the knife around and like stirred some things up. I feel like she was just very accusatory, and nothing she wanted to talk about was ever like, okay, let's talk about it. It was more like, you did something wrong, and then let's talk about it.
Right. And I think it's very interesting, too, because let's jump to, obviously, that was issue number 1. Issue number 2 now, which was very prominent this episode, was the whole butt-touching situation.
so
Butt touching Brandon.
So let's...
Am I the only one that thought that was weird for her? Because she's so reserved physically.
I did,
Time-wise,
yes.
I was like, wait, who was it? I had to rewind it and rewatch it. And I'm like, oh, I guess it was her.
When they explain it as that's how she is with everyone but Jonna, which also
I
makes
feel
me
so
sad
bad
for Jonna.
him. Like,
They are a whole other thing that
Yes.
we'll have to get into. But when they discuss it, in like everyone says, well, that's just how she is. I was like, oh, okay, well, that is just how she is. And,
Right.
And I also did understand Isabella's point where she said he could have said something back to her. But then when you hear him say, I told you I will discuss it with her at another time. And then she's like, no, I don't remember that. He's like, we had a whole conversation and you literally like walked away.
Which
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because when they were having that discussion with the experts, and obviously they're trying to hash it out, Tyler's trying to figure out what he did wrong, what he could have done better. There's multiple times that every time they have an issue, her immediate reaction is say, I don't remember that. I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. She did the
Denial.
same
That's
thing.
nice. That's very convenient.
Because remember, she did the same thing when she like shut the door on him the first time around. He said, I knocked on the door. I tried to call you. I tried to talk to you,
But
but
she
you
said, "I
ignored
didn't
me.
know
She
that."
goes, I didn't know that.
I just
What?
killed her.
No.
How do you
not
have someone
knows that.
knock on the door and not know that?
Yeah.
So this is clearly a pattern with her. And
Guys, should we talk about alcohol for a second? I
Yes.
mean, not to say that no one here drinks, but like, they're not even addressing it because, like, they'll say, oh, you guys had this fight, but like, for whatever reason, no one's like, were you drinking
Right,
too much? Do you have
right.
anger issues when you drink? Maybe you should drink less. Why is the pastor not addressing it? Because it always happens when they're out with the group, and it's like catatonic because I think maybe alcohol is playing a part in these
Right.
young children's lives that they haven't figured out yet when to temper themselves.
And I think also,
Yeah.
I think we're seeing too that Tyler is not a very vocal person, and I think if he did feel uncomfortable, it seems like it's his personality to not want to address it in front of an entire group of 5 people.
He seems
Yeah.
like a sweet guy, and I
Yeah.
want to give him a hug. I feel
They-
so bad he hasn't cried this much since he
They
was born.
are like a recipe for disaster, potentially. Not that every situation will turn out this way, but they are kind of a typical, like, fast burn situation where they meet, they're super attracted to each other, everything seems great, and then everything's really, really on, like, level 12, and then as soon as they start to, like, really discover some realities about each other,
Right. It's like
also
glass shattered.
glass shattered. Everything's totally catastrophic, horrible. This is the worst. I'm crying like since I was a baby, or like I'm a baby, or whatever. And everything's just like
I can't get over
extra, all the extra.
Yeah.
They need to just. This is a very good lesson too. I get that this is an accelerated show, but like try to take your time,
Yeah.
the best you can.
And
like
I think,
at least 4 weeks, maybe
Yeah.
not 3 weeks.
but I think
One more
also
week.
you
We'll
guys,
do it.
you mentioned this earlier, and it is true that like I really hope that whatever Married at First Sight does doesn't put her back on the show like this.
I was
because
just about to say that. Do you think they'd recast her because
Yes.
there's
No.
always a plot line
No,
with her?
no. I think the audience is over it. I'm sorry, and if they're not, then please check yourself.
Lifetime, call us. We don't
Because
want it.
like we've seen it before and it keeps happening. Like I said, the jig
It's a
is
pattern.
up.
Right.
I feel like we're uninterested in her because she's not even relatable.
Right.
At some point you think like maybe I kind of get what she's saying, and now that we've seen it this many times, you're like, hold the phone.
And I think that when you're sitting down with a group of girls, usually at least one will back you up. And not
Nobody
any of
does.
those
Not one.
girls backed her up.
Not
And
one.
that was kind of a red flag for me.
Even Brandon was like, you should not be worried about me, darling. You should actually be worried about yourself.
Brandon's another subject. I feel like we're breaking down the couples. Brandon,
Let's jump in because we're running out of time. But before we do,
okay.
actually, sorry to cut you off. I would just like to say there are so many amazing after shows here at AfterBuzz TV, and we thank you guys as fans, and we want to hear your comments. We always want to hear what you guys have to say. But in the meantime, where else can they find us?
You guys, like we're all saying, this is a network that produces after shows for all of your favorite after shows and TV shows, and we've got dramas, we've got reality TV like this show, we've got sci-fi and more. There is no network that works harder to serve the television fans like you guys, because we love you so much, but we need your help. And we are asking that you please subscribe to one or more of our YouTube channels. And when you do that, YouTube will suggest content that's tailor-made for you, and then it'll help AfterBuzz continue to grow. And you don't have to worry about like getting notifications and those are annoying or whatever. You can just opt out of those. It's very simple. You'll see when you're in it. You'll totally get it. You're all millennials. You're in the game. And so just hit subscribe on the channel and check out other after shows on YouTube as well. And then let us know that you subscribed and checked us out, and then we can shout you out in our comments and talk about you and thank you for supporting and being here and being a super fan like we are, because we do this because we love watching these shows and we know you guys love hearing about it and we really appreciate it. And so we're just thanking you for being the best fans and helping us be the ESPN of Talk TV here at AfterBuzz TV. So thank you, subscribe, and do the things.
Amazing. And guys, while you're at it, give us 5 stars on iTunes podcast. Let us know what you think in the comments, and let's get back into it. So obviously this episode 2 was based off of the whole sexology thing, and they had to try different things out, and it was all about your senses and communication and talking to that person and kind of making them feel welcome in a sense.
And the most uncomfortable
I was
thing
gonna
I've
say,
ever
so
seen.
uncomfortable.
on
The only one that thought that was really
network
awkward
TV.
and weird.
So uncomfortable.
I just couldn't. It was
I
weird.
mean, you have to also watch it going, there's cameras here, there's people in the room, and like some people just aren't really as open to that. Like
Right.
Jonna and Brandon, my take on that is bless you.
Thank you.
I think Jonna really, he is attracted to Brandon and he wants to take it to the next step, but I think Brandon is okay. She's a flirty, touchy-feely, social person, and so that's how she expresses herself when she's in a group of people and it's safe. But when it's one-on-one and it's intimate and alone, it's a little scarier for her, and so that's why she can slap somebody on the ass and do whatever, but in the privacy of her own partnership with one person, those things equal something else that is a bigger deal to her. It's safer for her in a group.
I totally understand that. One thing that I might disagree with a little bit is what I'm finding is that it's a pattern with her behavior and kind of being quote unquote uncomfortable and not wanting to express those feelings towards Jonna Jonna, I really think it's because of the cameras. Because she was uncomfortable and laughing with like the strawberries. And I was just imagining, if I had an entire camera crew of say 10 plus people behind me and I'm having to feed strawberries with chocolate on it to a significant other.
It's weird.
I would be like, oh my gosh, like my mom and my grandma can turn this on at any moment. Like I couldn't.
Just the eyes on you in an intimate moment like that, whoever it is, whether it's your mom or your grandma or just the thousands of eyes on you, you're aware, you're like, this doesn't feel normal.
Yeah.
Wait, guys, you're being so nice. She's so weird.
Oh, I don't think she's weird.
No, I just think that I would be more of a Brandon rather than a Kimber in that situation.
I would be I would not
Don't go on a dating show then.
But
well, that's why I'm not.
That's why I probably wouldn't do it, because I think that's weird.
Yeah.
I think that's so weird to like have a private moment, and unless you're an actor and that's what you want to do, it's not my game.
Why did she go on the show?
I was gonna say, I don't think she was prepared for the show at all.
Well, I don't think she knew that they were going to be like.
I'm not prepared for her because she makes me so. How does he like her?
That's the thing. I don't know how he's
They're
grown
like
to like her.
homies.
Yeah, like she doesn't touch him. She doesn't want anything to do with him. I feel bad for her.
I think that in an accelerated situation like this, Jonna is really really understanding. He
I
could see a
agree.
future. And because a lot of guys, most guys, or not most guys, I've heard of some guys that if a girl is initially like all on top of you, it's almost a turnoff because they know they can have you. But there's some guys that are like, oh, he knows that she's in it for the long run and the long haul because he can see a future of a wife and the things that she could do outside of just the sexual nature. And
Yeah,
I think that's
agree.
why he's being a little bit more patient because he's like, I can see a future that in that way. I know it'll grow. I mean, I know it's the hand holding and stuff is getting further and further along. But she did invite him to sleep in the bed.
I think
The
they'll
bed.
be fine. Honestly, I think Jonna is a smart guy and he's aware of the situation of
Yeah.
the TV show, and I think he's just like, okay, fine, whatever. I like her and she likes me, and I think we're good.
It honestly makes me like him more because I feel like he's accepting of her weird flaws.
You guys-
She's like a little child.
Chris-
I can't handle how juvenile she is with him. And
I
grody,
kind of
it's
like
weird.
them. Chris and Jada, though, like, first of all, Chris is hot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I still
The second
can't
I
get
watched
on
the first
that.
episode, I was like, oh my God, who's this?
My boyfriend watched the show with me. He's like, are you serious? You like that guy? I'm like,
Same thing, but also your boyfriend
yes.
should know.
He should know. That's my type. And that is
He's
not
so
what my
hot.
boyfriend looks like. He's so hot. But I'm
Your boyfriend's
surprised.
the Irish version of that.
That they are an odd coupling to me still.
Jada and Chris.
Yes,
but
I'm
see,
sorry.
that's what I'm saying is
I feel like
think
they're
that
friends.
But this is the thing is I think Chris has mentioned many of times that he's had too many girls just kind of give it up too soon
Because of his social
and-
media following.
Yeah.
Which was
Yeah, that's-
weird.
This was
That a
weird.
weird
You guys,
comment.
I don't
But-
believe that stuff for a second.
But I think that he also sees a mother in Jada.
I was gonna say I can see why he likes her because
guess.
of all the women on the show, I feel like she's. If I was a guy or if I was into girls, I feel like she would be the one. She's just all around.
I guess I see
you
what
know
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying. Like
Yeah.
she's a good mom. She's
Yeah.
calm. She's understanding.
Nurturing.
She's nurturing. I
Yeah.
can see why he likes her.
Yeah, she's got a
Okay.
good background. She
Yes.
comes from a great family, like
Yes.
that kind of stuff. I think-
Guys, though, also, if, like, I'm sorry.
Here comes the negative Nelly.
No, you know what it is? It's that the
No,
fact
you're
of the
not
matter is, it's like if only the world were really a musical game of chairs and you found love because, like, the one person that you maybe would relate to, you pick. Like
That's true.
Like,
You're true. Yeah,
in
you're
the
right.
wider scope of the world, would he really pick her? Like,
That's
I feel
what
like they
I'm
don't even
saying.
want to touch each
But
other.
I think that's why this game is good for some people.
It is
It's
a
because
game.
They,
It is a game.
Well, you're right because it's too many options.
Yeah.
It's like the Cheesecake
Yep.
Factory menu. If
Yes.
you just give me only one option, then Chris is gonna pick
Regular
Jada.
cheesecake.
Right.
Because she's a gorgeous girl. She's got the
She's-
full package,
yep.
but he doesn't have like
Anybody
17
else? Yeah.
girls that he can choose from in one
Yep.
DM.
You
Yeah.
basically
Not distracted.
cut down
Yep.
Yeah.
the noise.
I-
The
Gosh,
noise of everyone.
Ladies, I can't believe it. We're running out of time. Really quick, I just want to say, obviously, I feel like it's really hard to talk about Eric and Katie because they don't have
Yes.
too much that we really need to discuss. I think that we'll get into it next episode.
Yeah, this episode was kind of
Were they
with
there?
them.
Yeah, they were. They
Oh.
they did a really. It was they did on the couch. They
Yeah.
fed each other, but it was just there's
That was
no
weird.
intimacy
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
them. I just don't feel like they have natural chemistry.
I feel like
Yeah.
they should
I-
work together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like Katie is doing a good job at she's trying to open up, but it's one of those things where you can see it written all over her face that she's trying too hard to make something that's not going to happen.
And I don't think he's feeling it. So.
No.
I honestly think they made a deal and they're just like, let's just ride this out for vacation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably so. But then, last but not least, Shannon and Kimber. Obviously, I feel like they have it all together.
I
agree.
shocked. Yes.
So shocked.
Not the couple I thought was going to be at that
They-
point.
they're
At this point, at all. Not,
Agreed.
not at all.
No, and their sexuality is on point. Whatever they're
And their
doing.
communication is on
Is-
point.
Their
Who would
emotional.
have
Oh my
thought
gosh.
that
yeah.
they were the couple to win?
No, never.
I mean, is this a winning thing? Like, I
It's
think
well,
they're gonna.
they win each other.
They're gonna get,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're gonna get engaged.
They're getting
For
the gift
sure.
of each other.
For
Also,
sure.
does anyone else think Kimber is the love child of Miley Cyrus and Katy Perry?
I do. I agree.
Oh, I could see that. Now
You're
they say
welcome.
that.
AfterBuzz exclusive.
You're welcome.
Right here.
Oh my gosh.
You'll never not see that again.
This was too little of time to discuss all of these juicy details, but we will be breaking down episode 6 for you in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned for that. We will see you soon.
See you then,
Bye,
guys.
See you in 1 second.
Sorry, I forgot to tag.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.